Ever wondered how to make people see things your way or how to remember things better? It might just be a question of knowing the right psychological tricks. The human mind is a complex and fascinating machine, capable of incredible feats. Yet, often, we're not able to tap into its full potential. With a touch of psychology, however, we can learn to harness this power and use it to our advantage. Imagine this: being able to influence others, improve your memory, and even enhance your decision-making skills. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's more attainable than you might think. By understanding the subtle workings of our minds, we can unlock these abilities, and more. From everyday interactions to major life decisions, these tricks can help us navigate life more effectively. So whether you're interested in the human mind or just looking for ways to improve your life, you're in the right place. Stay tuned to uncover 20 simple psychological tricks that actually work. Scene script. Trick number 1, the Benjamin Franklin effect. If you want someone to like you, ask them for a favor. Now, this may seem counterintuitive, but it's based on cognitive dissonance theory. Essentially, we humans find it difficult to hold two conflicting beliefs at the same time, so when we do a favor for someone, we justify it by believing that we must like that person. After all, why else would we help them, right? Next up we have trick number 2, the door-in-the-face technique. This is a classic persuasion strategy where you start by asking for something big, something you know they'll likely refuse. Then, you ask for something smaller. Compared to your initial request, this second one seems like a breeze, and they're more likely to agree. Moving on to trick number 3, the foot-in-the-door technique. This is the reverse of the previous trick. Start by asking for something small, something they're likely to agree to. Once they've said yes to this, they're more likely to agree to a larger request. You've already got your foot in the door after all. Trick number 4, the paradox of choice. This is all about decision-making. The more options a person has, the harder it is for them to make a decision. So if you want to influence someone's choice, limit their options. It's not about deception, it's about simplifying the process for them. Finally, trick number 5, the Zeigarnik effect. This trick is all about unfinished business. We're more likely to remember tasks we haven't completed. So, if you want to remember something, start it, but don't finish it. Your brain will keep reminding you about it until it's done. These first 5 tricks work wonders in manipulating decisions and improving memory. Moving on to trick number 6, the Pygmalion effect. This trick is all about the power of expectation. Named after a Greek myth, the Pygmalion effect suggests that our expectations of others can influence their behavior. When we expect great things from someone, they are more likely to deliver. Similarly, if we anticipate failure, it's more likely to occur. Harness this trick by setting high, yet achievable expectations for those around you. Next up, we have the mere exposure effect. This psychological trick is based on the premise that people tend to develop a preference for things merely because they are familiar with them. So, if you want to make a positive impression, try to become a familiar presence. Be consistent, be available, and over time, you'll likely become more likable. The third trick for today is the scarcity principle. This principle leverages the fact that people are naturally drawn to things that are scarce or exclusive. It's why limited time offers are so effective. If you want to increase the perceived value of something, make it seem scarce. The fourth trick is a bit unusual. It's called the bizarreness effect. This trick suggests that bizarre, weird, or unusual information is more memorable than common information. If you're trying to remember something important, try associating it with a bizarre image or story. The more bizarre, the better. Finally, we come to trick number 10, the recency effect. This psychological trick is based on the idea that people are more likely to remember the most recent information they've learned. If you're trying to make a lasting impression, make sure your key points are at the end of your presentation, meeting, or conversation. These tricks can help you improve your charisma and memory and influence people's behavior. Scene script. Ready for more? Trick number 11, the pratfall effect. Making mistakes can make you more likable. Isn't it surprising? We tend to think that perfection is the key to admiration. However, the pratfall effect suggests otherwise. This psychological trick reveals that people who make mistakes are often perceived as more likable. Now, this doesn't mean you should go around messing things up on purpose, but showing a little vulnerability, admitting when you're wrong, or even spilling your coffee can make you appear more human, more relatable, and thus, more likable. Up next, trick number 12, the decoy effect. This is a fascinating phenomenon often used in marketing. Here's how it works. When given 2 options, people struggle to decide, but introduce a third, less attractive option, the decoy, and voila. Suddenly, one of the original options becomes much more appealing. So next time you're having trouble making a decision, try introducing a decoy. It might just help you make up your mind. Moving on to trick number 13, the anchoring effect. This trick is all about first impressions. The first piece of information we receive about something acts as an anchor, influencing our judgment of all information that follows. Keep this in mind when you're negotiating or making decisions. The initial number you hear sets the stage for everything else. Trick number 14 is the halo effect. This psychological trick shows that our overall impression of a person can be based on one trait or quality. A person who is kind, for example, may also be perceived as intelligent, even if those two characteristics don't necessarily go hand in hand. So strive to show your best qualities first. They might just cast a halo around everything else. Finally, trick number 15. The contrast effect. This trick demonstrates that our perception of something can be significantly influenced by what it's being compared to. A warm day feels hotter after a week of cold weather, right? This is the contrast effect in action. Use it to your advantage by setting the right context and your message will be more impactful. These tricks can enhance your likability and help you make better decisions. Moving to the final set, trick number 16. The Hawthorne effect. People change their behavior when they know they're being observed. It's a fascinating phenomenon first noticed in workplaces, where productivity increased not necessarily due to improved conditions but because employees knew they were being watched. So, if you want to motivate someone, subtly let them know their performance is being noticed. Next up, trick 17, the self-serving bias. This is a cognitive bias where individuals attribute their successes to their own abilities and efforts, while blaming external factors for their failures. Understanding this can help you manage expectations and reactions, both yours and others. Remember, we're all the heroes of our own stories. Now, on to trick number 18, the endowment effect. This psychological trick explains why people place a higher value on things they own compared to identical items owned by others. It's why we might refuse a fair trade even when it makes sense. This bias can be leveraged in negotiations by encouraging a sense of ownership before a decision is made. Trick number 19, the bandwagon effect. This is the tendency of people to adopt certain behaviors, styles, or attitudes simply because others are doing so. It's why trends catch on and social proof is such a powerful influence. By aligning your ideas with popular opinion or showing endorsements from others, you can use the bandwagon effect to your advantage. And finally, we have trick number 20, the placebo effect. This is the power of belief to improve performance or well-being, even if the cause of the improvement is actually a non-effective intervention or treatment. It's a testament to the power of positive thinking and expectation. Harnessing the placebo effect can lead to incredible results simply by fostering belief and optimism. These last tricks can help you understand how perception influences reality. Well, we've covered a lot today, haven't we? From understanding the power of silence to the persuasive prowess of a genuine smile, we've journeyed through a range of psychological tricks that are simple yet incredibly effective. We delved into the world of cognitive biases, exploring the power of the anchoring effect and the influence of the halo effect. We've learned that people are more likely to comply with a request when it's preceded by an inconsequential favor, and that the mere exposure effect can make us prefer things simply because they're familiar. We've also discovered how the scarcity principle can drive desire, and how the power of touch can foster connection and trust. We've seen how the foot in the door technique can lead to greater compliance, and how the door in the face technique can make a subsequent request seem more reasonable. Remember, these tricks aren't just fun facts. They're practical tools you can use in everyday life. Thanks for watching.